is iRacing.
While the Lotus 49 did race at Le Mans, it was on the Bugatti circuit in real life. But the beauty of sim racing is we can say, what if, and place the cars on the legendary Circuit de la Sarthe. It'll be about the high speeds today as we get ready to watch round 11 of the Lotus 49 Grand Prix Legend Series. We'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Jake Sperry. Behind the scenes is our director, Daniel Costello, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Most folks will have heard of this track, but in case anyone is in the dark, let's head to our track guide. Welcome to Le Mans. When you talk about legendary circuits, this is a place that stands among the most famous in the world. Part permanent road course, part temporary street circuit, it traipses through the countryside just south of the city where it gets its namesake. Its size matches its reputation as well, clocking it at 8.5 miles, which equates to roughly 13.5 kilometers. However, when you take into account that it's split by only 33 turns, the frighteningly fast nature of this circuit becomes clear. Most of the corners have been added over the century of history it's experienced, but many have become renowned and respected. The two turns at the opposite ends of the massively long Mulsanne Straight play equally important roles. Tertre Rouge requires a great exit in order to not lose massive amounts of time, while Mulsanne Corner takes bravery and precision in order to brake as late as possible and keep opponents from passing you on the way in. There's also hair-raising moments like the tricky entry to Indianapolis, or the close walls along the bridge section in the Porsche curves. To win here, drivers will need a very low downforce setup, a good sense of strategy, and heaps of bravery. The 24 Hours of Le Mans is the crown jewel of endurance racing, which many drivers dream of someday winning and many fans flock to witness in person. Once you've driven the track here on iRacing, it's easy to see why. Well, this place needs little introduction, Jake, for most folks. This is just such a legendary track.
Well, for those who don't understand why this circuit in the Pays de la Loire region is such an incredible track, this is the reason why. It is the benchmark of all endurance racing. It is the circuit that demands ultimate respect for GT3, for GT4, for those who are in LMP3, LMP2, and those up in the LMDH hypercars. This is the holy grail that you go out there and race for. This is one of the few areas of public road where you have a true sense of what high speed is meant to be out there on a race course, and you got amazing places to go and make a pass. You look around at the Dunlop chicane, you look over to the two chicanes on the Mulsanne, down at Mulsanne Corner and over to Indianapolis turn 19, and then that technical end to the lap through the Porsche curves and over to the Ford chicanes in the rear Corps de Mont. This is racing royalty, and you may bow in its presence.
Indeed, and we're taking open wheelers to it, which is going to be its own challenge as the drivers will try to race close without tangling with one another. But this is also the penultimate round of the season, which means the championship is going to be on the minds of many of the drivers. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Togo Hysata is 10 points behind, but that is including some of the drop weeks. Now, remember that Togo has been around more than Adria, so he actually has more points total, so he can rely on those, but he almost needs Adrius to have a bad race today or next week to have a shot at trying to take the title, because Valenteus has been winning just about every time he showed up. Nikola Kaki is also a bit of a distant hope, but he also kind of needs the same situation. From there, most of the drivers on down probably aren't going to be able to make up enough points. Claridge in a bit of a fight there with Clapper for the 4th position, and John Olsen really not that far behind the pair of them as well. Then you've got Gary Ho, David Rossi, Kurt Clapper, and Seb Tixier all within just about 12 points or so for the 7th place battle. So it is tight, and consistency is definitely going to be key. But that's just the F1 standings, Jake. Let's take a look at the F2.
Yep, so F2 also makes a difference right now, because Josephine Becker, she's having a wonderful season. She's 41 clear of Tobias Hernvey, and so it's looking pretty much locked on set for her at this moment, with the two of Yannis Carpentier and Mats Linden tied in 3rd and 4th. So for 2nd, still very much open in the air. Anders Bruno on a lonely island in 5th, with Thomas Tuber in 6th. Just the 1 clear of Alan Graham, with Manuel Matisich then in 8th place. Don Peake 9th, and then Campbell Wallace has rounded out the top 10 in category, proving that it is always going to be a tough day's worth of racing.
Indeed, and they have a Nations Cup that they run in this series. Togo's been doing very well up there at the top, helping them lead the way. The United States still in 2nd place, ahead of England, curiously tied with the United Kingdom, and that's not because they're the same place, but it's just one of the quirks of what iRacing has introduced in the last couple seasons, of the different areas that you can claim as your country of origin. So now that is what this series uses for their reference. Italy only a single point behind that 3rd place battle. That'll be very hard fought. The Ukraine is where Andreas Valenteus is claiming, and currently sits down in 6th, but really not that far behind. Pretty much all the way down to 2nd place, I guess you could say. So all those drivers are going to be fighting hard to try and help claim that spot on the top 3 in the Cup of Nations. Real quick, Jake, let's take a look at our race details for those who haven't watched this thing before.
Well, this is round 11 of 12, so we're right in the crunch time of the season. There aren't many laps today around this place, because it is a incredibly long 13.6 kilometers per lap, so just the 9 of them to get through today. It's open setup, so they're allowed to fine-tune and throttle what they need to, but there is no spare car available for them if they throw it into one of the many Armco barriers around this legendary track. And for those who do not know, they pick up incident points over the course of racing if they drive off the circuit, if they lose control of the car, or if they hit someone else. If you hit 17, you get a drive-through penalty. If you go all the way to 25, it's a disqualification.
Now, if you thought you missed Black Friday yesterday, well, you didn't quite, because iRacing still has their Black Friday sale all the way through December 2nd. And that is 50% off new memberships. And if you're already a member, 25% off. Both of these are the biggest deal that you're going to get all year long. So now is the absolute best time to take advantage and get yourself a membership or a renewal here on iRacing. We are in the midst of qualifying, and it looks like Togo Hisada currently has our fastest lap, but we are still waiting on Valenteus, and I can tell you that he's just coming around, I think, to finish that first lap now.
Yeah, so Valenteus then at the start had himself a lot of trouble with his first lap, and he's got trouble with his second as well. So he's going to have to start from the back on this one, which isn't necessarily the end of the world, because we've only had 13 times that have come in here in qualifying, so it hasn't been a massive scramble, as Mick Claridge has gone fastest by, get this, over a 3-minute 48 lap, Joe, 0.003 of a second.
Wow. That would be fascinating to watch the comparison between the pair of them, to see where they made the difference, as, like you said, a lot of drivers still needing to get the lap down, and it is possible to pass here, obviously, because they have those long straights. But the big thing, and I think the talking point we'll have all day long here, Jake, is you don't want to lose track of that lead pack.
No, you don't. This is a draft-dependent circuit, and when we say that there is a rubber band out there when you're racing, we talk about it in terms of slipstream. If you fall outside of 1.5 seconds, that rubber band tends to snap, and then you lose that ability to gain that momentum by someone punching a hole in the air in front of you, and you're spending all your time trying to gather it back. So that's going to be worth a little eye out as Ricardo Ruiz goes up then to fourth position then, about 9/10 of a second off the pace. We focus then on the Miller Light car of Kurt Clapper working his way through Indianapolis to Arnage, but you are trying to stay within that gap, and the first few corners of the race are going to be really important. Up through the Dunlop chicane, through the Descent de la Chapelle, and then over through Tetra Rouge chicane to Tetra Rouge corner. Those corners will decide how big the front group is for the first run along the Mulsanne.
Indeed. And we'll see a lot of drivers trying to avoid getting any sort of slowdown penalties around here as well. This place kind of known for that. You can't go wide in a number of corners, as well as just trying to avoid cutting off the apex a little bit too tight. But Kurt Clapper traditionally doesn't qualify. We'll see if he actually completes the lap here with about 30 seconds left to go. Valenteus, one of the other big names to fail to set a time. Jack David Spickett as well has not put one down. So there's definitely a few that are going to have to really be trying to push forward and pass a few cars, but only 19 on the board out of our 35 that have signed up for today's race have actually managed to set a clean lap. Will Kurt Clapper make it 20 here as he just crosses in time? And it looks like he will. So a 3:56.4 puts him up to 15th.
A wonderful time there, and that will set everybody up, Joe, here for qualifying, as they will get themselves set for 9 racing laps.
Indeed. And Mick Claridge obviously going to be starting on the pole for that one. Togo Hisada will be starting next to him. Then you've got Nicola Kaki in P3, as Ricardo Ruiz will start from 4th. Seb Tixier is 5th today, while John Olsen starts from 6th position. And then Marco Salgado will be in a 7th. After that, Bill Tyler is P8, and Laust Olsen starting 9th, row 5 completed by Cam Porter in 10th.
The Tricolor are going over the circuit right now, as they do with every race here at this Le Mans circuit. A wonderful touch by iRacing, David Rossi and Michael Grissinger on row 6, with Mitch Heller 13th and Tobias Hernvey in 14th. Great qualifying there, as Kurt Clapper and Mikael Thabala then will be on row 8. Yannis Carpentier has said he's only done 2 clean laps total in practice for this. He's 17th with Andres Bruno 18th. Wade Sheedy and Raul Pinochet Donoso make up the top 20.
From there, it's Andreas Valenteus 21st today. Jack David Spickett in 22nd. Jason Clapper starts 23rd, followed by Pedro Temiladri 24th, and Robert Plumley hits your quarter-century mark. It's Thomas Tuba to his outside, and Jan Steffen then on the inside of the next row, 14. You've got Mats Linden in 28th to his outside. Stephen Kelly will be in 29th, and Don Peak in 30th. I'll just round these out as Saban Bibent will be 31st, Jason Tyerman and Damian Dudek, Troy Profit, and Robert Reynolds will round up the field of 35 cars getting ready to start today. They're all lined up and good to go, barring Robert Plumley, who we're waiting on before we get the go-ahead from race control here. And then it is off for 9 laps today. It's not going to sound like a lot, but as we saw, more than 3 minutes to circulate here. Green flag is out, and they are on their way down towards the first corner. It's a pretty good start here from Togo Hisada. Oh, and you're right, there is a big accident in behind. Drivers are scattering to try to avoid how many are going to make it. Look at the huge gap now, as so many had to slow to try and stay out of the action. But Mick Claridge is going to be able to hold back Hisada.
And in it, Aldrius Valenteus has picked up damage, so he's been caught. He's now got the coldest toes in all of sim racing at the moment, because he's lost the front from it. But that's what happens when you have to take chances at the front. Immediate contact. These are difficult cars to try and work with, and you have to build the pace with the torque that goes through the rear tyres. Very tough to deal with, but as they pass the Stade Marie-Marvanct on the right-hand side, Hisada's second, Mick Claridge your leader.
Cocky sitting in third still, chasing behind. Seb Tixier managed to stay with them. Hailing from France, even though he races from Singapore currently. This is going to be an important one as a bit of a home race for him. Hisada going to get overtaken as Nicola Cocky outbreaks him into the Daytona chicane. And we're going to be seeing a lot of that swapping back and forth unless drivers decide to stay extremely patient today.
Patience is a virtue, so it's a case of what do you want? This could be a game of fuel save right now that they try and play about, but it's about giving yourself a platform to start this race. So you got there Claridge, Cocky, Hisada, 1, 2, and 3. Then Ruiz, Tixier, and Olsen, the next group. Rossi 7th. Jack David Spickett, remember, started 22nd on this grid, Joe. He is already up to 8th place, but he's got a long road left as the top 7 have all pretty much formed together.
So that seems to be our first group. Now, granted, you can get a little bit of a pull farther than a second away as there's a problem for Carpentier into the second chicane. Don Peake going to snag a position from that one. He is up 10 spots on the first lap already.
He is, and down the inside, Nicola is not going to sit back idly and makes the pass on Mick Claridge, and that's a go to the front. Now as they will work past the Le Mans golf course on the right-hand side, they will now charge back along to Indianapolis. Claridge is going to get the run back and is going to say, yes, this is where I'm going to now retake my race lead, and this is normally the definitive point of the lap where you can say, right, now you can settle in for the final sector. Everyone hold hands together on this line. They work into the banked corner. Let's take a look at this start. So John Olsen here, middle of the road. He's pinched and he just overcorrects, bang, hard into the wall. There, Clips, the driver who started the race then in about 8th place. That was Laust Olsen, and then Cam Porter's caught up with it, and everybody's trying to go. And that's Aldrius there on the right-hand side, just trying to shoot a gap that doesn't exist.
And you can see even some cars behind hitting the brakes unexpectedly on the main straight caused some to run into the back of others, unfortunately. Cocky back into second behind Claridge. Hisada still sitting there in third. Seb Tixier in fourth. They've now pulled a gap to Ruiz because of that incident that we saw there coming through the second chicane. And this means that we could have a 4-car breakaway. Not what I expected this early on. This is Carpentier. So, excuse me, this wasn't the cause of the breakup. This is well far back, it looks like.
Just dropped it.
Spins, yeah.
It's so easily done. He said he hadn't had much practice or been unable to keep it clean. Those tyres and the brakes go very cold along the Mulsanne straight because you're flat full throttle for over 35 seconds before you have to jam the brakes down. They didn't have those chicanes added until the 1990s, Joe. Whoa, in the back. Big spin, bang, into the wall. That's going to come straight back across the circuit there.
That's Stephen Kelly, and he immediately takes a tow to try to avoid causing any more problems. You could see the damage on the nose of Valenteu's car. He might have the number 1 on that machine, but he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get to P1 today.
Well, the gold standard looks very much like it's fool's gold at the moment, trying to find a way past the number 10 machine out there as the next overtake to have, as he will try and figure out, sorry, it's the 18 of Robert Plumley. He will have to try and get by. Tixier, happy to sit on the back. He was actually singing the French national anthem, believe it or not, when he was sat waiting for the grid. So here's someone who really is in the spirit of all of this today with Hisada, with Cocky there. But look at the way that Mick Claridge has broken away, and a serpentine along the Mulsanne. Normally we see cars just run the middle. It's the quickest way to do it because you've got the crowd in the road, gives you a slight advantage. But Mick Claridge is trying to shake some draft.
Yeah, he doesn't want to play any of those drafting games today. He wants to try and break free if possible, but I'm not sure if it's going to be easy for him as quick as he is. He has gotten up to about 0.8 of a second, so he's got maybe just a sniff of that breakaway, but I doubt he'll be able to outrun guys like Cocky and Hisada, who are going to be smart about this without a doubt. And Seb Tixier probably going to be hungry for success today. Like you said, a bit of patriotism maybe help pushing him along as he slides it through the second chicane and continues to chase from fourth. We check in on those behind. Valenteu's, another spot for him, easy as you like, down into that chicane.
Yeah, comfortable pass on Robert Plumley. Rob's a very experienced driver. He's got over a decade's worth of experience here in iRacing, so he's not going to let that one be too difficult. Tobias Hernby as well in a scrap with the Argentine Pedro Temaladri, who has gone through. And because we had half the field set a time and half the field didn't there, Joe, it created a lot of trouble. Speaking of trouble, Tixier down at Mulsanne corner, overcooks it on the brakes as you run from roundabout to roundabout, has a trip through the gravel, and now dispatches himself into the group of Ruiz, Olsen, Spickett, and Rossi, who's coming off the back. He's a look top right.
Did he just go in a little bit too hot? Yep, he did. Couldn't get it slowed down in time. They do have that runoff with the gravel, but unfortunately, not only did it lose the main group, now he's stuck in the second group and fighting with Ruiz, Olsen, and Spickett. And maybe it's going to be a fourth place at best. But shockingly, it is cut down to 3 cars before we're even done with lap 2. We usually see much bigger packs than this at the start.
And I think this is telling because of the way this field has worked. It's not the strongest strength of field we have had in the world here today at this track. We normally expect all the big guns to come out and play. I don't know whether everyone's busy with Thanksgiving and Black Friday and all the rest of it that's been going about, but today it's not as popular, and so you are going to see different drivers out there. We are seeing a different range, and because we're in the nitty-gritty of the season, it's something that if you put this early on in the calendar, Joe, at the start, like a round 2 or round 3, you are absolutely in the mixer to have everybody and their neighbour and their dog trying to go and race this track. But because it's round 11, it's at the end of the season, people are tired, they're waiting for the new build, they'll go, no, I'll take these couple of weeks off and then I'll jump through into the next round, next season's worth of racing next month around.
It's not been a very good day for Valenteus. He just had his connection drop of all things. No. So he can get back in this race, but now it is pretty much guaranteed he's not going to have that great of a result. We said this is what Togo and Nicola need to have a shot at the championship, and guess what? The racing gods have smiled as Nicola Kaki continues to run in second. I can tell you that Tixier managed to get by Olsen for 5th just now.
Yeah, so there are moves happening, and now suddenly the championship, they don't have to worry about the driver with the most iRating, the driver who consistently in any car he puts his mind to can put himself up near the front of any field. They are now focusing solely on themselves. Nicola in the Martini colours now is going to see whether he can shake and maybe even stir Mick Claridge up then and get that pass done, going at 325 kilometres an hour on the straight over towards that first chicane, gets it done in a car that looks like an old shoe.
These things are lightning quick in a straight line, 200 plus miles an hour, and this is with the version with the chicanes. You should see them when they get racing on the historic version that you can run here on iRacing. It is massive and scary. Nicola Kaki up to the top spot as Claridge tries to get back by him, and it looks like he is going to swap one more time as they tow along Hisada, waiting patiently there in third. The gap behind them, look at how big it is. That is what 7 seconds is like.
It's a light year around here, and you think that could be a kilometre, 7 seconds, the way that they work along the Mulsanne. So Ricardo Ruiz now back in that group, and there's Wade Sheedy, then the number 16 side by side with Robert Plumley, and leaving the door in, have a bit of Ashes fever. It's Australia versus England, and guess what? Just like in Perth, it's the Aussie who comes out on top.
And Wade Sheedy is going to take that 12th off of Plumley.
Oh, Jan.
Oh, no. Stefan at the side of the road. Now, what happened here?
Oh, he's run straight up the back of Yanis Carpentier. He outbroke himself, and Yanis just ended up going for a ride down there at the Michelin chicane.
Well, he at least looks like he has managed to pull off to the side, not cause more problems after that. We're going to take a replay in a second. Before that, we got to check in with Seb. Going to be ruining the fact that he is losing a chance to maybe take a victory here today. It's not impossible, but it'll take something phenomenal for all 3 of the top cars to lose enough ground for him to have a shot. Now we're going to take a look at what happened. So there's Carpentier in the black and white machine, the 22, like you said, coming in, maybe missing his braking point a little bit. And that second chicane is not going to bring good memories for Carpentier next time he visits here. Oh, things are looking dicey coming up into the Porsche S's, though. Things finally getting back to single file amongst this group, as you don't want to be fighting side by side. You're going to lose gobs of time through this back and forth series of corners.
Speaking of losing time, a really weird one for Nicola Cocchi coming out of Mulsanne corner. He just dropped the throttle for about 2 seconds, as if he had a slowdown or something of that ilk. Really caught Togo Hisada out, who almost ran up the back of him, and it gave Mick Claridge 9/10 of a second. So he's worked really hard to gain that gap back, but really odd in terms of that sense. But you're sensing here with the likes of Jack David Spickett, with Ricardo Ruiz. Oh, and Laus into the wall, out of the race.
Oh, maybe just goosed it a little bit hard. That's a very sketchy rejoin. Mitch Heller thankfully heads up to avoid it, but Laust now knows that the car cannot carry on. He takes a tow and is the latest to visit pit lane. So we watch Hisada here in third. They got a second to make up to get to Mick. So let's see, was it just too eager on the throttle here from Laust? I'd say so.
Yeah, and watch this from Laust Olsen. It's actually quite clever what he does. He knows the car's broken, but look at what he tries to do as Mitch Heller makes his way by. He tries to cross the finish line, get the lap, and therefore his tow time... Actually, I think he should have done it the other way. He'd have had a really short tow time before the line. Now he's going to have the longest tow time in history.
I was going to say, I wasn't sure if it's based on the line or if it's just according to where your spot is, but either way, yeah, it could be a bit of a wait here. But I was going to say that Togo and Nicola have got to hustle here a little bit and try to catch up. Meanwhile, this is Jason Clapper versus Michael Grissinger. Jason up 14 today, and yet he has been outdone by Jack David Spickett, who is up 18 to that fourth spot. That's going to fluctuate, though, since he is in that big pack.
Well, Jack's pack is actually looking like it's starting to break up a little bit here, because they have dropped David Rossi from it. It's only a group of 3, so you've got Tixien Ruiz only looking to chase the driver who is, according to how quick he's been in the Lotus, 79 over the course of this season here, Joe. An honorary Finn for this season.
I love that Finnish sim racers have such a reputation that they will even find drivers that they consider worthy of said reputation. As you are right, I think. JDS pulling off to the side, allowing both of them through. Yeah, he was well too far ahead for him to just give that one up that easily.
Yeah, so that is just taking the Michelin chicane a little bit too aggressively. And you see these cars really try and fight. There's no aerodynamics to help you get through the corners. It's all mechanical grip. It's the Colin Chapman way of speed and lightness. That's all you've got to help you go through. A car that has a wonderful weight-to-speed ratio with that fantastic Ford DFV Cosworth engine. And this would be the perfect sort of engine out there with Cosworth's new deal with iRacing with the Cosworth Pi tools.
Exactly. I'm curious how much data they do have on this old engine, as it got a lot of use. Well, I guess they wouldn't really have too much data because they didn't have computers back then, but maybe they put it on a dyno at some point since then. Meanwhile, Mick Claridge has been run down once again. This goes to show how difficult it is. Even with nearly a second ahead, he was not able to get away from this pair. We're now hitting the halfway point in this race. It still remains at these 3. But I think the big thing here, Jake, these are all extremely experienced racers in this car. They know the game.
Well, Mick Claridge has the biggest win streak in the Lotus 49 history. Nicola Cocchi has been up near the front racing with these drivers for year after year. As Pedro Temeladri, now with the black and orange mechanical flag, is out of the race from 15th place. And you've also got Togo Hisada, multiple-time champion in this series, who's racing right now at this moment on his Saturday night, saying this is what great racing is all about for me. Fastest lap then from the young Japanese sensation. It was his birthday last week. We all sung him home for his win, but Ricardo Ruiz there in 5th, trying to work himself then into play. Oh, it's a connection. Temeladri's been sent to the pits for connection black flag.
I just noticed that as well. That's not something we see as commonly. Usually a driver will tend to simply disconnect a lot of times, but it's a new feature been introduced over the past year for iRacing to help kind of improve on the quality of life, if you will, in sim racing, if drivers just don't have a good enough connection to race safely near one another. Meanwhile, Ricardo Ruiz, sitting in 5th, seems to be losing touch with Seb Tixier about a second, but as we've seen, he could be pulled back in. We're thinking maybe about a second and a half, and you could break that toe from the car behind. Now it looks like it is Kottke's turn to take the point. He passes Claridge. But he goes in way too deep at Daytona. He'll get back on it. Question is, did he get a slowdown? It looks like no, he did not cut the course.
No, but what he does find himself is the wrong side of the road. So that will mean that as they drive on the left, as they do in France, they don't drive on the right. There will be a case of now, how are you going to find themselves? They drive on the right, not on the left, as they work it through. I drive on the left. But now as they try and focus through into the left and right that they go of the Michelin chicane, it is Claridge, happy still at the front. He's been playing couch commander with the front of this race. He'll be happy that he's playing in that position, but the issue he's going to run into, it's all right to be there at the front. What happens when you reach the final lap and everyone's got to run on you?
Exactly. And thankfully, the French know what's the correct side to drive on the side of the road. Ooh. But as Nicolas Kottke continues to chase down Hissata and Claridge, his failed attempt turns into a second failed attempt as he outbrakes himself, and he's slow off the corner. He sees it starting to slip away. Is this where it becomes then there were two?
Well, it's two of the best to ever do it. If it is now 1.3, the issue you're going to run into here is Togo can't hold a tenth of a second behind the entire way around the circuit. He will have to lift off, and he does so here going into Indianapolis. That will bring Nicolas Kottke back to within a second, so that's the saving grace that you find. Togo really proving that he's got something out there to go through. Togo knows what the right side of the road to drive is, because in Japan they drive on my side of the road. But as they go and work through, they're trying to do everything that they can. Wade Sheedy take 2 out there. A second innings between him and Robert Plumley.
Side by side as it's going to get very narrow into the braking of Indianapolis. It's hard enough in modern cars, and these older machines braking early with very little grip to hold them to the track is going to allow Wade Sheedy to sneak through just before they get to Arnage. Does look like Robert's going to try and fight back a bit, but no, decides not to stick his nose in.
Don Peak as well. It's going to get the run on what very much looked like a pastel-coloured sensation livery out there at the moment. Lovely pass to go and get that done on Sabin Bibant, who started all the way back in 31st up to 15th. Then with the way that running has been going, so as far as I can count here, we're down to just 23 runners from a start of 35. So it has been a very tough day at the office for many, like Mats Linden, for example. Oh, Ricardo Ruiz, big issue with Jack David Spickett.
Oh no, this surely breaks things up. Both of them heading into pit lane, so there must have been contact between them and needing repairs. JDS does have the black and orange flag, and both of them getting black flags for unsafe pit entries, but that's the least of their worries.
No, and I think that's down to the fact that Jack David Spickett was over on the grass on the right-hand side trying to get it slowed up. Never going to help Ricardo Ruiz, who jumped on him, as we'll get a replay of it. He jumped on him like a pack of wolves, and there was nothing really to do. So there's Jack David Spickett. Tyres are in the grass, and so Ricardo Ruiz, he just runs over the top of him, not expecting him to be that slow. And when you're in that rhythm, you've got that narrow focus, you're not expecting someone to be slower than necessary. And Jack David Spickett, not often he gets run over like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, we got the view of the nose of the car almost comedically falling off as he tried to find his pit stall. Back to our top 3, Claridge, Hissata, and Kottke. Now on lap 6 of this race. The time continues to tick down. Seb Tixier, I mean, he's doing a heck of a job to at least try and solidify this 4th place, but now he is all on his lonesome. Nobody to help him. Hopefully that'll mean nobody can catch him as well, as the group behind is Rossi and Clapper and Heller, it looks like, about 9 seconds back.
Well, I'd say that is a very handy fourth place in island racing, the way it's going. Hesada with a little look at the Michelin chicane, lap 6 here out of 9. And so thinking there's going to be a chance to get it sorted as they will now run over to Mulsanne corner itself. Mick Claridge just fanging it on the power, trying to get off of the exit. He's doing a wonderful job of just getting the drive out of the corners where Hesada and Cocky both have not had the opportunity to do so. But Nicola's going to go absolutely marauding down the inside at Mulsanne corner. He's going to get it slowed up as well. Brilliant pass to get to second and back into position as you were from a couple laps ago.
Incredibly, I think we only have something in the realm of 20 cars, 19 cars that have not been in pit lane. We said that it's a little bit of a lower strength of field than we're used to, but apparently this very difficult and fast circuit has caught out many a driver today. Down into Indianapolis once again, you can see the cars bouncing around as they compress at the apexes of these banked corners. They are supple suspensions on these Lotus 49s, and that is part of what makes them so difficult.
Oh, and look at Mick Claridge get a massive kicker tail out of Arnage corner, which leads over to the small town on the outskirts of Le Mans of Arnage itself. Now heading towards those Porsche curves. You are really sensing that it is a tough day out there, and normally I've been seeing quite a lot that in-sim time and real time have been the same. Not here today. It's a 27-degree track temperature because in-sim date, we're racing April 1st, 2026.
This is a little bit sketchy, trying to go by lap traffic. Back row Bob, as he's affectionately known, allows them by. So Robert Reynolds is going to get out of the way of the leaders dutifully. He's another regular in this series, and obviously is experienced enough to kind of pick the right place to let them through. Going to hit 7 out of 9 here. As we come to the line once again, a lot of that inside curb is needed to be fast. You can see all 3 of the leaders just clobbering those sausage curbs.
And they need to, because they're trying to throw the car through the corner, get that influx of grip when it lands once more. And Mr. I start from the back and see how far I go, Jason Clapper, it's another great day for him. This for a top 5.
17 spots. Incredibly, he does not have the most positions. Troy Profit, who started from 34th, is now up 18 spots into 16th. But he's a little bit farther back, about almost 2 minutes behind the leaders already. It tells you how quick the top drivers are in this series. But Jason Clapper, that is David Rossi in the red car just in front of him. And I believe that must be a lap car because I'm showing Titsier about 10 seconds ahead.
Yeah, it's the lap down. Ricardo Ruiz is now for the race lead. Here comes the chase. Nicola Cocky again on the run to the Daytona chicane is going to get the pass. Mick's going to get back into line, and he will maybe send out a warning shot back through that first chicane. No dice then in making that one happen as they sit. Jason Clapper now gets the move that he wants to set up with, and he'll cross the beams, go to the inside. David Rossi gets tow from Ricardo Ruiz. You're going to have to rely to the side draft to go and get this move done. It's going to be a battle of wills on the brakes, and it's ultimately not the will of David Rossi that gets it done. Easy enough for Jason Clapper. Top 5.
Was not expecting lap traffic to play a part in this one, but yeah, you're right. The slipstream that they offer up can play a big complication on if you want to do a last lap snipe on the car ahead. What will that mean for our leaders here? Will they come across any more cars before this is over as they approach the Mulsanne hairpin once again? Claridge leading at least for now, with Nicola just taking a tidy look to the inside and getting back in line.
Yep. No need to make this move yet. You've still got a couple laps yet to go, and this final lap of 13 kilometers that they'll be heading to will be the most important one to see that pass. So I'm looking at Mick Claridge, I'm looking at Nicola Cocky. You've got 2 drivers who want to be on top. Tobias Hernby, who's really trying to jump with no Josephine Becker today. She'll be jumping on with the likes of a drop round for this one. Can't afford to be dropping positions. Every point's going to count today for Tobias.
So that's another position with Tobias having an off for Don Peak. as he's also dropped, it looks like Bibent in the 31. He's up to 12th position, a gain of 18. That ties him with Clapper for most positions gained at this stage. And that, I can tell you, is supposed to be a lifesaver packet, is what he's painted this car after, which, even though it is supposed to be kind of a joke on the tubular shape of the car, this wasn't the first car that he painted like that. And someone pointed out it's the perfect car for that paint scheme.
It is a very perfect car for a lightsaber packet out there, so certainly doing what is needed, as there is Sabin Bibent trying to get back the place that he's ceded over to the Swede Hernvey, and so Sabin sits in line and is going to have to try and play the patient game to continue. Did see an off down at Mulsanne corner for Wade Sheedy, so Robert Plumley now, I think, has just got himself the edge ahead then in that scrap out there at the moment, and Ricardo Ruiz, 21st, is now finding himself on the back of this group and can run here between now and the end of this race. No real concern, no real worry at this moment. It's just now, can I salvage any iRacing and safety rating from this one?
Exactly. It'll be an exercise in frustration from here, that you're just kind of going through the motions and doing what you can. Troy Profit up 19 now, so he has bested both Peak and Clapper. And interesting note from our producer, the number 34 out of our 35 starters, but he's running 15th. This is going to be a great day for iRating for him.
Yeah, well, you say, step one, sign yourself up for a race in the Lotus 49 at a really long track. Step two, finish. Step three, Troy Profit.
I love it. He's got himself a huge boost if he can just bring it home from here. Nicola Kaki in second, just behind Mick Claridge. Dives to the side, coming down to the Daytona chicane. He's got the speed. He's going to pull ahead just a little bit and get back to the racing line by the time they slam on the brakes. The gap, oh, and that's the second time we've seen him do that into the first chicane. Goes a little bit too far. Again, he doesn't get the slowdown penalty, but it compromises that exit just enough. Look at them just blow past.
They're trying to go through in the guttering on the outside. It's bumpy out there if you're trying to hold that pace, and Togo lifts out of it, doesn't want anything to be that far down. And so I think he's really clever at the moment, is Togo. He's buying his time with a lap and a half to go here at Le Mans. But they are looking at this, Joe, and saying, right, where do you want to be on that last lap? And I think Togo's the only one who hasn't really shown what he's capable of doing. I'm waiting for that full fire salvo along Mulsanne on the final lap.
I think that's what Togo's been doing for sure. He's not really been trying any sort of passes. So again, he's just kind of waiting for things to happen. We're going to go wheel to wheel this time, down into the Mulsanne hairpin. Can Nicola actually make the corner? He does, but again, he is slow as he takes it just a bit too deep. Claridge undercuts him and comes right back and will take that spot once again. But they need to watch out. Togo has been way too quiet for all of this.
He thought about the middle and decided against it, and Mick, I think, lifting out on the run to Indianapolis, realizes my best chance of winning is by sitting back and waiting here, giving an opportunity later on. Nicolo's overshooting the corners by half a car width. Doesn't sound like much. You're talking about maybe a meter in through each corner, half a meter, but they add up to a tenth pretty much through every corner. It's allowing Mick Claridge to try and close himself up and get himself into a beautiful place. And just on the northeast of this wonderful circuit, as there's a think of side-by-side, but again, Claridge backs out of it. Just to the northeast, just so happens to be a little town called Champagne. Who is going to be the one who's going to be tasting champagne at the end of this race?
And this place is, of course, known for where they finally started spraying that stuff in celebration. Who's going to get to do so virtually today? These three looking like they will be the most likely to do so unless they clatter into one another on this final lap. The white flag being prepared by Barney to give the one to go. Nicola, Mick, and Togo. Three familiar names here in the Lotus 49 to decide it.
And now it's all about who places themselves in the right moment at the right time. Nicola wants to play defense from the front. Not many can do it well, but those who can have such a strong prowess of making that happen. Mick Claridge, who has been running at the front to stay out of trouble, now looks to try and place himself properly, but it's Togo Hesada, the big warrior. Mick is all over the place through the Dunlop chicane. It gives half a second now to Nicola. It's not enough to break away through the Descent de la Chapelle. Now heading over to the Tetra Rouge chicane here, the left and the right at just 140 kilometers an hour, trying to break that toe, trying to run away. I think it's about timing now, more than anything else. Nicola with the biggest gap he's got, but it's about Mick and Togo. How much time do they have to go and get to the front?
It was about half a second coming out of Tetra Rouge. Will that be enough to keep them from at least making a pass, or are they going to have even more speed with the slipstream being longer here on the straight? You can see how much they're gaining, but it's getting close to that braking zone, and indeed, it was not close enough. That could be important information here for the next two sections that is almost equally broken up along this straightaway. Once again, they accelerate out, but this time it is only 0.3 of a second between them.
And so the gap will close, and Mick can't hesitate here because Togo's going to go straight for it. Here they go, 2 wide, 3 wide on the final lap on the Mulsanne. A duel of brakes. It will be each of the Musketeers trying to find it. Mick Claridge is the one latest on it. They'll try and work second. They've got to get into line behind. Conkey's going to take that one over Togo Hesada, but Claridge now with control as they work themselves down over towards Mulsanne corner, but the drive's not brilliant. Nicola gets a sterling run, and put about this. This is going to be a great run as they head over to this next section. Togo, bing! He's in the wall! He's hit the wall! Trying to get that pass! He's just gone too aggressive to get it. It's only a glancing blow, but it means it takes one opportunity away. Conkey around the outside takes the race lead. Claridge now in second.
Wow, dangerous stuff. They are on a knife's edge here at nearly 200 miles an hour. Togo Hesada gets another bite. He might have one more opportunity after this, but look, he is blocked in. No place to go. He had to lift once again. He's going close to the edge. 3 wide through Indianapolis is not going to work. Somebody's going to have to give as they approach the right-hander. They're going to hold on to it. Somehow they get through at 3 wide, and then to the left-hander of Indianapolis. They come together, and it's Nicola Conkey who gets the rub of the green and runs away.
And that's all he needed. Mick Claridge in the middle, trying to do everything he could, but he was put from pillar to post then as they went through. It was Togo who lost the rears initially. Mick Claridge is going to have to try and finish this one with 3 wheels on his wagon. So Tixier, I think, is going to steal the podium here. But Nicola, oh, it pays to be a little bit brave. It pays to sight off on a race like this. He's just got the Porsche curves and 1.1 seconds in the back pocket.
In a strange twist, there is no black and orange flag for Mick Claridge right now, but this means Seb Tixier is going to be able to take that third away from him. Nicola Conkey, he didn't come away completely clean from that, just a little bit of a touch involved in it, but he got away first out of that group of 3, and that's what matters here at the end, as Le Mans is going to choose another winner, and today it's going to be the Italian, as Conkey emerges out of the Ford chicane to the line to take the win.
It is a wonderful result then. We know how critical drives like this are. Hesada second, but will make massive gains in the championship for it. And Seb Tixier, doesn't it pay to be on your own a little bit? A podium for the Frenchman.
He'll be happy about that, not the way that he anticipated. Jason Clapper's not just going to get 5th, he's going to beat Mick to the line by the smallest of margins as he carefully tries to drive that 3-wheeled machine to the finish. I can't believe he's not been given a meatball flag for that missing wheel.
No, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway because you have 4 laps to serve it, Joe, for the end, so he would just need to finish anyway to get himself over the line. Robert Plumley, a P8 today. He'll be happy with that. Michael Grissinger will take 9th on the last lap. Wade Sheedy will round out the 10. And there's Tobias Hernvey out there in a moment because Dom Peak's going to have to finish with 3 wheels on his wagon.
I just noticed that too. Troy Profit, who is still our hardest charger right now, is going to get another one if he can catch him in time, but I'm not sure he will. He's got 41 seconds to get up to him. Not sure what happened here. In fact, you might as well call it two wheels. Look at that.
Well, you're now starting to think, how tough is it to go in? Because the fact that it's just pitching down so much. Look, he's already got the wheel damage there on the front, trying to limp it home. And I think it just, oh yeah, it just attaches just straight away. It just ran out. Then, sorry, Don, you got to go the rest of the way with 3.
Had no interest in getting to the finish with him, unfortunately, and that's going to be tough into the first part of the chicane. There's nothing to really help it steer on that side. You can see it lifting that rear wheel. He's got enough time. Troy is not nearly close enough to be able to take that away from him. So it's still a good day, I guess. 17 up from where he started. Don Peak finishing with maybe just a bit more damage than he would have liked, but it's still a finish. And in fact, I think we're going to see 19 cars come home on the lead lap today.
We absolutely are, and a whole heap of amazing racing that's put it through. But Joe, what a day. How often do we see 3 wide try to make it work at Indianapolis? They did everything but keep it together at the end, and if they'd made it around that corner, that would have been the greatest highlight of the Lotus 49s ever.
Well, they made it through the first part of Indianapolis. It was the second one that they seem to have had trouble with, which is odd since that's maybe the slower corner. Nicola Kaki, your winner today, helps him out in the championship hunt. Togo Hisada will take second, but he might actually still be our championship leader after this round. Once again, Seb Tixier finishing third was ahead of Jason Clapper fourth. McClarridge still gets a top 5 after that one. David Rossi was 6th, Mitch Heller was 7th, and Robert Plumley, a nice run to 8th today. Michael Grissinger gets 9th, and Wade Sheedy goes for a top 10.
Over in 11th, we still got drivers trying to finish. Kurt Clapper is going to be classified then in that one in 11th, ahead of Tobias Hernvey and Don Peak. Troy Profit will be in 24th. There's Jason Tyerman will be then 15th, 16th for Raul Pinochet Donoso, who was one of the last set of time. Then Thomas Tuber, then 17th. The car in the pits is Sabin Babent, who I think is actually going to fall down to 20th, all things considered. So Mats Linden will jump up to 18th, and Andres Brunner, who's just come to the line, is going to leapfrog into 19th position, with Bibent unable to finish the final lap of the race. Should be the first lap down in 20th.
21st was Ricardo Ruiz, and Robert Reynolds managed 22nd today. Marco Salgado, unfortunately, 23rd, as Pedro Tamaladri, with his connection issues, wound up 24th. Yannis Carpentier, we saw some of his woes, was 3 laps down in 25th. Jack David Spickett, unfortunately, only 26th today. We start to get into some DNFs with Bill Tyler in 27th, Lars Stolson 28th, Jan Steffen in 29th, Damian Dudek in 30th. And then from there, I believe these are drivers that did not for sure see the checkered flag, with Valenteus, Olsen, Porter, Zabala, and Kelly rounding out your order. And Nicola Kaki at the top of it all, probably going to be still coming down from the adrenaline high, no doubt, as he took the victory. But the thing I want to talk about, Nicola, is going into Indianapolis, you get the call for 3 wide from the spotter. What's going through your mind at that moment?
Hi, guys. Well, I don't know what it was going into my mind. It was just like, we are here to dance, so let's dance. And this kind of track is all about waiting for the final lap to be close-ish to the guys ahead. So I made many mistakes, actually, but I knew that it didn't matter too much in this kind of track. So I was there only to try my best and to try my luck. And I think today I was very, very, very lucky. Maybe the luckiest race I have had, actually.
Well, you're supposed to be Italian, not Irish, so I guess it worked out in the end. Now, you kept fighting back and forth. You kept overtaking the position. You said you're here to try and fight and whatnot. But Togo kind of waited patiently for so long. Did the thought ever occur to you to kind of do what he did and maybe stay back, or did you really, really want the track position?
Yeah, well, Togo is much smarter than me. So I knew they was just waiting for the last lap, like I said. But actually, sometimes some of those overtakes was just me hitting my brake marks, and the other guy just being very careful. So I was basically try to avoid to hit their back, and I was just going for the overtake, and most of the time they let me do, because it doesn't really matter here. But yeah, I kinda think I kind of thought about going to be like the smartest people there, even if it's not my role actually. But last time in Road America, Togo did the same, and it was happening like very big shunts on front of him, and he was going to like to pass by everybody and salute everybody and go to win. So yeah, the thought it was passing to my head, but I also wanted to have some slingshot racing in order to build a gap for the car behind us, at least on the first half of the race. The after that, it was the gap was still plenty, but I just wanted to, I'm here to race, so let's race.
And I do love that mentality. Lastly, obviously, you're coming from a little bit behind on points in third entering this race, but with Audrius kind of rolling snake eyes today, what does this do going into the last round? How do you view the championship hunt?
Well, I already burned my 2 drop weeks, so I am forced to try to do my best and to not get another DNF. But to be honest, I don't think I can go much higher. I don't think I can go higher than third in the championship, because I will have Togo already. I think he still has at least 1 DNF, maybe even 2. So Togo is not an option. And I don't know about Audrius, but maybe he ran out of his drop week as well. I don't know. He's been very unlucky this season. It's happened a lot to him, like very unfortunate situation. So that's why you don't see him like dominating everybody. And he also, just for the sake of the joy of racing, is also getting much more fuel than he needed, just to be able to fight with us. So yeah, I think Audrius is still on another planet. Togo is faster than me most of the time, and so I think that my focus is going to be him. But we are on the best case scenario. We are going to be very close on points, but I don't think I can gain a position actually.
Well, we'll still keep a watch out for you, because as we can see, you never know what's going to happen. But congratulations on the win.
Thank you, guys, and see you in Portimao, which is a great track. So I'm going to probably suck there. Bye bye.
So, Nicola Kaki, your winner here today. Finishing behind him just by about a second was Togo Hisada, and thankfully Jake is chatting with him, whose Japanese is much better than mine.
Hi. Togo, this is going to be one where I think it's going to sting a little bit, knowing you were so close. But talk through that final lap, because you were looking every which way to try and find a move. You put yourself in the Armco on the right, heading down to Mulsanne Corner, and then found yourself with the rear stepping out at Indianapolis. What happened, mate?
Yeah, my aim is just took a first place after the Arunage on the last lap. That was the only way to take a win here. So I'm aiming for that. My plan is just passing the Nicola on the second chicane, but yeah, actually he's very good on the brakes, and yeah, I cannot make a move. I couldn't make a move out of the chicane actually. So my option is just do aggressive, and a little bit I I think I success to slow down the car to the second part of the Indianapolis, but I hit the inside car very much under the yeah. It looks like my left rear is up in the air or something like that, and suddenly lost the rear grip. And yeah, unfortunately hit the mic. So yeah, it's just 100% my fault. I'm a little bit too optimistic about that line, but yeah, that's it. That's why why I did on the last lap.
It looked like you were trying to set up the entire race for it. You weren't going to go for second. You weren't going to go for first. You only took the opportunities that were presented in front of you. So how was it for you in terms of managing that race and trying to play the patient card until you absolutely couldn't anymore?
Yeah, it's yeah. I can make a move at any time, but it's very tough to run away from any draft with these guys. They they are very fast and very pace is really even, so equal. So yeah, I'm just less management. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's the answer for that question. I think
I get you, right. Forgive me for my Japanese. Arugavaru de no shizu nokori ishi desu. Taitaru o katsukotu toku suru chikara wa arimasu ka?
Yeah, it depends on the out rules. Yeah, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best as always, but yeah, Iris is alien. He's faster than me, of course. So yeah. Anyway, I will do my best, and the hope for the hope for the hope for the good luck for me in the next week. That's it.
It depends on Aldrius with one season left, one race in the season left at the Algarve, if he's got what it takes to put the title in his back pocket. Togo Hisada there, finishing off in second position overall. And I believe I have just pulled Joe the wrong place around. So we'll just jump in with the driver who finished third overall. Joe, I believe you found Seb Tixier.
Indeed, and based on what we heard from Seb on the grid, Seb, I anticipate you're furiously waving the tricolor right now.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we should bring Mick away with me because he's an official third. I just gathered the leftover of what happened in the front. I don't deserve the podium, but I'm happy to have it. But I'm not the real guy. I made a mistakes at the end of Mulsanne, and then from there, the three other guys went very far away from me, and then I had to struggle a bit with Ricardo and GDS because they were quite slower than me, but they were catching up, and they made contact, and from there it was like a bit boring, and was just waiting from seeing what's going to happen, and was not wishing for it, but was thinking maybe I will get a podium. And after Indianapolis, I saw a tire, so I was like, and then in the relative, I saw that Mick was slow, and then he said he was damaged, and so I saw him struggling with his tricycle in the Porsche corner and got the podium somehow.
Yeah, the signs were there that something good was coming your way, I suppose. But this was definitely a game of Survivor for a lot of drivers today. When you found yourself slipping back into that second group, did that change your approach at all to avoid getting tangled up in anything more, or were you still kind of full tilt?
No, I was at some point I was hoping that JDS we stop getting slowed down so we can frog leap and try to catch up, but yeah, that didn't happen. And after that, yeah, I was like I was thinking myself like, yeah, actually I never had I think it's been long time I got a podium Le Mans. Usually I got slowdowns or I mess up. This time I mess up, or I got crashed or I crash. So I was not expecting a podium at all.
Well, it came to you in the end. I guess it was meant to be. Congratulations on the top 3.
Thank you.
And that was Seb Tixier finishing third today. Real quick, it sounds like Jake has caught up with Mick to try and find out what it was like on a 3-wheeler out there.
Mick, I hear that you were very angry and you walked over to Togo's garage the same way that Michael Schumacher did in 1998. Just give us your thoughts.
I did, and he kept his helmet on. He didn't take his helmet off.
Oh, I know. Cowardice. Absolute cowardice there, Mick. But in terms of that race, you threw everything. You were playing rough shot at the front of the field. And ultimately, it's 3 wide twice on that final lap, which pretty much decides it. Just talk us through that scenario for you.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, I everyone knows you don't want to be leading into Mulsanne corner. And then, so I messed the brake marker up into Mulsanne corner with Nick right there as well. So I had to pump the pedal. I was pumping the pedal. Never done that before. Pumping the pedal to get him to grip back up. Anyway, got around the corner and behind Nick. Perfect placement. Perfect placement, Jake. Just thought, right, I've got the run. I've got it. Right, all I need to do is just get wide of Nick and just not leave a gap for Togo. But then Togo, bloody Hisada, decides to go down on the grass on the left-hand side. And then we get into the corner and I'm thinking, right, I can hear a car on my right, I can hear a car on my left. I'm not going to look because I'm too scared. And I just thought, all right, I'll just go down the middle of the line. And as soon as you get to that left-hander, there's a little white line that goes right around the middle of the track. I thought, right, if I just stay on that, I'm all right. We'll be 3 wide all the way down to whatever it is. But then he comes in like an asteroid, doesn't he? Hey? He just ploughed straight into me. Do you know what, Jake? He should be dragged into the nearest town, right? Tied up to a lamppost, and everyone should turn up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and throw lettuce at him.
Oh dear. Well, we will apologize for any
and right, when I go and see him, he better have presents. And I'm talking sandwiches and cake, chocolate cake I want from him.
Okay, well, we can see whether we can put it on the menu for you, but apologies for any language you may have heard, ladies and gentlemen. Mick, for you then, I guess it's stage hunting then heading to the Algarve.
Sorry, I missed that. I missed that, Jake. What did you say at the end there?
It's stage hunting for you now heading to the Algarve.
Do you know what? I'm going to miss it because I want to go. I want to put a ton of practice into Bathurst for the 79. So I'm going to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's hope that the 79 is going to work for you then in that regard. Mick Claridge, P5 on 3 wheels then.
Hold on, can I just... Sorry, Jack. Can I just ask Joe a question?
Of course.
Joe, did you happen to see a little red Ferrari driving around today?
I did not. Did we
Michael Thomas, man. Michael Thomas was back.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. There was a lot going on, to be fair. So
Okay, I'll let you off, mate. See you guys.
Mick Claridge there joining us. 5th overall, Joe. An absolute character.
I've been doing this for a lot of years. There's times I'm going to miss some drivers that haven't been around for a while. So anyways, we, of course, want to give a big thank you to the team today, Jake, Daniel, and Dougie. And make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. The next race, as we mentioned, Algarve or Portimao, if you prefer. That'll be Saturday, December 6th at 8:30 a.m. Eastern for the finale of this season. And then, of course, we have some more racing today. IMSA Vintage goes over to Japan for Okayama at noon. Be sure to check out the other broadcasts that we have listed here on the screen. And until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.
This is iRacing.